Advanced Warriors, I played the Guardian, and in Doctor Who, the Black Guardian was my mentor. They're both complete control freaks. And of course, as a television producer, you can imagine that's the way I like it. And if you keep watching Advanced Warriors, the plan is to make the Guardian figure very, very powerful. Basically, he's bored and he just wants to control people and see exactly how mischievous he can be. And I think that's going to be a very, very good plotline, and one I am looking forward to contributing to immensely.
Warriors from Earth's past, you have both been selected for your outstanding abilities. The honour of a great adventure lies ahead of you.
Well, I didn't sign up.
No, neither did I.
You have latent talents that I have brought to the surface in both of you. You will protect this world from the evil that has invaded it, or you will never return home.
I've been in television for, goodness, since I was 18, really, if you count training at the Royal Academy. So that's, well, it's 25 years and counting. And I started off as an actor, and I'm now a producer. I think the highlight has to be Doctor Who, in a sense. There are two highlights. One, Doctor Who, which was extraordinary to be cast in because you immediately become part of a cult situation. And I still do Doctor Who appearances, having been in it 20 years ago. The other was the first natural history film I made, which was with Steve Irwin, The Crocodile Hunter, 10 Deadliest Snakes in the World, which again created a cult, The Crocodile Hunter. So those are the highlights. I think Advanced Warriors is a very innovative project, and I do think there's a huge future in interactive products, but basically because they're fun. People do want to interact, in the sense that when you watch television, I think it's a social thing. People enjoy watching television most when they're with other people and they can interact with those. So if you take the other people away and you're producing a computer-driven or even television-driven project which has another side to it, you still want interaction. How do you do that? Well, you have to interact with the product. In a sense, Advanced Warriors has done that, and I think very successfully. And I think it's lovely that it involves people from so many sci-fi series. That's very attractive to the fans, and there's something quite cute about it. I think if you look back, you can say that in many ways the UK did have a golden era of science fiction, and I think Doctor Who was part of that. I then think that golden era moved to America through Star Trek. Blake 7 was not, I'll get into trouble for this, I don't think it quite got there in the same sense that Doctor Who did. Red Dwarf, I think, has had something different. It brought that enormous humour to it, and that's great. It's great to see humour. But I think Star Trek was the big mover, and then, of course, the Star Wars, the big movies. I think until the UK has a big movie hit with science fiction, it won't be back in there. And I think that's the big challenge. Movies is where it's at. And anybody can come up with that format to produce a movie and then a spin-off TV series. I think you've got it. So it's horses for courses, isn't it? It's all about story. If somebody can come up with a new science fiction idea in the UK that's got a very, very strong story. Doctor Who, what a fantastic idea. It can run and run. It's a fantastic format. So if somebody in the UK comes up with a format-driven science fiction series, they'll have a success in their hands. What you want as your ideal role is a character that's very, very similar to you, where you can be yourself. And in fact, in my acting career, that hasn't really happened. You want that because then you can respond much more easily. Let's face it, life is not about running down corridors being chased by green slimy monsters. And if it is, go and see somebody soon, you're on something really seriously bad for your head. In my case, Peter Davison is a really good example of this. He came to the fore by playing Tristram in All Creatures Great and Small, a character very, very like Peter. He was able to be charming. He was able to be all those things. Whereas one of my first parts on television was playing Cherry, a broomy ambulance man in a soap opera called Angels, in which I ate a lot of cheese on toast, had a girlfriend called Alison, and wore a hat a lot of the time. And my mother would say to me, "Mark, why don't you talk nicely when you're on television. And I'd say, well, look, I'm playing a part. And actually what she meant was, I don't like you not being yourself. And that's been a big problem for actors in the last few years. Because in England, we're taught to be an actor. We're not taught to be ourselves. Whereas the big American film stars are extensions of themselves. And I think that's a bit of a problem for English actors. What we used to admire in English actors, people like Alec Guinness, isn't what's asked for now in the market. So, and I will go back to acting. What I'll do when I go back to acting, when I'm too worn out from the stress of being a producer, is I will try and find a part, hopefully, that's something like me, because it's in parts like that you can shine and just let your emotion come out. It's what you want to do as an actor. It gives you enormous breadth and freedom. I rarely do public appearances these days because I'm so involved with my producing. But I've just done one a week ago at a memorabilia event at the NEC, and it was fantastic to meet people who have been following my career for 20 years. I think if as an actor you are, one, respectful of your fans, and two, very grateful, I think you've lost the plot. That's what it's about. It's about entertaining people. And I get the biggest kick out of people saying, I love your work, and what are you going to do next? And all those questions. So a big thank you if you have been following my work, and I'll look forward to doing more for you. The business is about the fans. What more can I say? Thank you.